if anybody would like to take part in this, and I'll get you going on it. Thanks, friends.
All right, so we're 5 after, so we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome everyone to the SaltProject Community Open Hour. I am Gareth Greenaway, and Wayne Werner and I will be co-hosting today. So we'll just kick it off. So as per usual, you can find us on all the usual social media platforms. Obviously, we're on Slack, community Slack. We have Twitch. Wayne does a testing clinic on Twitch. Tyler occasionally does an item session or a pop session on Twitch. We're on Reddit, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all the things. Obviously, GitHub as well, and YouTube. So our agenda for today, we're going to talk a little bit about SaltConf. SaltConf is coming up very quickly. Some general updates, some release updates, some working group updates, a lot of updates today. Some Salt enhancement proposals, we'll go over those, and then we'll get to the Q&A, which is everyone's opportunity to ask us questions, and hopefully we have some answers. So Chunga, do you want to talk us about SaltConf a little bit?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. As hopefully you all know by now, SaltConf is completely virtual again this year. It's also completely free. I think that's one thing that Wayne brought to my attention a couple of days ago, actually, that we are not banging that drum nearly enough, and I completely agree with him. So November 3rd and 4th, it's a 2-day event. Last year was also virtual, but it was only a 1-day event. So we're adding speakers, we're adding sessions, as you just heard me talk about. Very excited about that. The theme this year is bigger, better, faster, stronger, to play on the old Daft Punk song. I think you guys are all familiar. We are currently open for registrations at saltconf.com. Again, it is completely free. If you have anyone in your network that you're talking to, that you're working with, especially internally at VMware, please send them over to get signed up. It's a 2-step process. Of course, you've got to be registered with Hopin. I think you all know that, and that registration all happens at the same time. But there has been a little bit of confusion over the past couple of days between Hopin and registering for SaltConf. It's pretty easy, but if anybody has any issues, you can definitely send them my way. We are still looking for speakers. We need you. We need speakers. So Jeff Blair, Smokey, was very helpful yesterday in helping me line up a couple of people for the demo jam. We're looking for contestants in our demo jam. We're also looking for some more speakers to round out our available sessions. It would be greatly appreciated to have experts such as yourselves taking part in our presentations, like Gary is doing. Congratulations, Gary. He'll be presenting at SaltConf. Well done, sir. Thank you very much. Gary, I hate to put you on the spot. Do you want to tell everybody what you're going to be presenting about?
Oh, I'm going to be talking about using the lovely new Delta proxy minion and the native minions. It's focused around network devices.
Very cool. All right. Again, I want to put this out there. It doesn't have to be. I think a lot of people think that these presentations have to be these very, very involved, very low level, deep down in the funnel type presentations. They don't have to be at all. I think a lot of people that are coming to SaltConf are just simply looking to network and rub elbows with like-minded people such as yourselves, especially the core team who do this all day, every day. So again, I would encourage all of you to, if you have any sort of interest at all in speaking, please get with me, and we'll get you going. Wayne, how many presentations are you doing? I think you're doing 2, aren't you?
I don't know. I guess I can. There was. Yeah, I had one that's a relatively short talk. It's surprises that I learned about software development working in my garden. So
very cool. Yeah, it may have been Vincent Riccio that was doing 2. So I apologize, Wayne, if I'm putting you on the spot, man. My bad. All right, well, anyway, that's what's happening with saltconf.com. I want to remind everyone that the first 500 people that show up get a pretty slick looking gift box that's loaded with some swag that you'll probably actually want, as opposed to most of these kind of shows where you get just a couple of tchotchkes and it kind of sucks. These gift boxes, Janae, before her departure, did a really good job putting these things together. And if you have friends, family in your network that you think may have an interest in attending, go have them sign up right now, because I don't think we're to the 500. In fact, I know we're not to the 500 yet. So they'll get some goodies and they'll get to attend SaltConf. So one of the concerns that I have, and I do have concerns about SaltConf, is Zoom fatigue. We have a very ambitious goal this year of bringing in 2,500 people. I'll be honest with you, I did not set that goal. I think whoever did set that goal is drinking hairspray, if I can be completely frank. But nevertheless, we are going to try and reach that goal just the same. And so we want to pack this place with a lot of fun, like-minded developers and engineers at SaltConf. So be sure to have them go sign up, and let's get some gift boxes, some hands, and some butts, and some seats, and we'll make this a great SaltConf. Again, the concern is Zoom fatigue and getting people to sign up, because look, I'll level with you. One of the last things I want to do for fun is sit around on a Zoom call, and this will have that kind of vibe to it, but it's really good information, and it will be a fun thing. We just have to overcome that small hurdle. So thanks a lot for your help, guys. And Gareth, I think that's probably going to do it for right now.
All right, sounds good. So moving on. So I guess we still have the store, the old store, the SaltStack store. I guess we still have swag. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Chunga.
We do still have swag. I was actually just on there the other day. I think you have to go to like vintage swag or something.
Okay, that's awesome.
We do. Believe it or not, it's actually selling really well. We just had a lot. Part of the reason for that was the pandemic. We bought a bunch of stuff with the intention of doing tons of events, and then those events, well, So yeah, we've got a lot of extra stuff that we're trying to get rid of, and believe it or not, it's going well. We're getting rid of it.
All right, so yeah, don't miss your.
I was gonna say, so if you want some salt stickers, or some socks, which are incredibly comfortable. I think there were some playing cards on there last time I saw. Yeah.
And that Death Star poster is really cool too.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah,
and
buy some swag.
Free shipping in what was it, the contiguous 48?
Indeed. Yep.
So some release updates. So we are hard at work on getting the silicone release out, which will be version 3004. We have a handful of PRs still to merge in. I think the last count was 6. So we are actively working to get the test passing and get those all ready to get to merge. So we're looking at an RC release date, hoping for October 1st of 2021. So once we have the RC out, we would definitely appreciate anyone who's able to, who has the ability to test that RC, help us find any bugs before general release. So we're going to give about 2 weeks between, a little over 2 weeks between the RC release and the general release, October 18th. We're hoping for the general release date. So just give ourselves and the community a little padding just in case, because there's always things that pop up at the last minute. So some updates on Salt Extension. Dwayne, do you want to take this? I think you're most involved here. Assuming Wayne is still there, he didn't walk away.
He might have just stepped away. Not sure.
Okay. So anyway, I'll I guess talk just briefly about this from what I know. We have a Salt Extension that some of the core team members have been working on to get better support for vCenter, since we're now owned by VMware. That's hoping to get into and be released with the silicon release. And just an update here. I don't know if Bryce is on the call here, but Salt 3000, the Salt 3000 release is now in the phase 3 support. So there's no longer any, other than like any CVE fixes, no longer getting fixes. I don't even know if we're still doing CVE fixes on this one.
No, yeah, it's completely out of for CVE fixes or bug fixes or anything, and that means that's also the final Python 2 version of Salt support 2 is out with that also.
Yes, if you're still running and using Python 2, you should upgrade to Python 3 because Python 2 is dead.
Python is dead. Long live Python.
Exactly. Okay. So I think, Derek, you had some updates on the docs working group.
Yeah, I actually will be leaving VMware at the end of next week. And so what that means is I'm also part of some other communities that I'm maybe going to be ramping up some more involvement in on the side. And from a docs working group point of view, I would not be able to continue to carry the torch as the captain. So that either means that the docs working group might, I know before we had been talking about it previously slowing down, but we had a little bit more traction over the past few months, mostly because Gary's been showing up doing some awesome work. So it's same with Gareth, and Wayne's have popped in a few times, and a few other people. So I don't know. We're looking for a new captain, and if people are involved in like wanting to, if you've been seeing, oh, I wish the docs had this kind of attention, or that I could do this kind of work with it. Yeah, we could use a new captain, or it might just be there might be a hiatus until that's kind of figured out.
All right, sounds good. And we're also looking at rebooting the Kubernetes working group. So if anyone has any interest in Kubernetes and figuring out what using Kubernetes and Salt looks like, I know the last couple working group meetings, or even the first one we did, the story of what Salt and Kubernetes was kind of all over the map in terms of like what that looks like. So hopefully this time around we can define that better. And if anyone's interested in that, we'll look for details, and we'll publish that on the community calendar and mention it in future open hours.
Just real quick, I'm sorry, that would be a great session, Gareth, at SaltConf. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see a theme here, Chunga.
Yeah. All right, sorry. Please continue.
Yeah, so basically we in core team, we are constantly brainstorming about how the future looks like, and we strongly believe that Kubernetes and few other areas are one where we should getting started. And Kubernetes working group was already there. I think I missed the group word there when I was modifying the slide. So sorry about that. But this effort of looking at the future and getting ready for the future, we are very focused on the getting things stable at this moment, right? But this is the effort where we want to get slowly involved and getting ready for future. So Kubernetes working group is one of them. We are rebooting it, and I request or basically extend my personal invitation to committee that if you have requirements that we should be working on, and we can collaborate together.
Actually, on that note, I don't know if one of the core engineers, if I'm remembering this right, I remember when I was learning about or looking into Kubernetes support and Salt, that someone showed me that early days of Kubernetes, when it was originally being kind of set up, that it was using Salt itself for functionality. And I was like, well, I never knew that Salt was kind of part of Kubernetes origin story. And so yeah, I don't know if other people here are like, that's right, or because I swear that was the case, that Salt seemed to even be in its code base for working with stuff. But Yeah.
It was, yeah, early on part of the, I don't know how much code, Salt code is still in Kubernetes, at least the deployment portion of it. But yeah, that was, I remember finding like learning that too and thinking like, oh, that's really cool. All right, moving on. So these are our current Salt enhancement proposals. So a handful of them are in the final comment period. So if you have any thoughts on any of these, now is the time to weigh in before they are merged and marked as approved. Just a reminder on how the SEPs work, or Salt enhancement proposals work. Just because one is approved doesn't necessarily mean that the core team will work on the implementation of them. The merge portion or approval portion means that we just simply mean, yes, this would be a good enhancement to Salt. So anyone within the community is free to pick these up and work on them.
And I actually was going to
interest.
I know that some of these have updated since. I know like the last one listed 33 is actually been accepted. I'm pretty sure, right? Because I think Silicon might be adding the 0. I'm not sure.
I believe so. My understanding is also correct.
Okay, good to know. So we need to update this slide for future open hours.
Yeah, and there's another step, I believe 34 is the one that is adding the pluggable transport layers.
Okay, cool.
Was just added last week, I think, or the week before that. But 37, sorry.
Yeah, I think the 19 might be merged.
It is still in final
Still in
comment
draft.
period, or
Okay.
listed in final comment period. We probably need to go ahead and vote on that one as well as some of these other ones, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
Anyways, so yeah, go check out the Salt enhancement proposals. See if there's anything that interests you, or you just want to be like, oh, what's that all about? I dropped a link there in chat to the repository there, but yeah, definitely check those out. We've got a bunch of ones that could probably use more eyes. And if not, just simply getting those in the back of your head as something that's like, oh, okay, this might be something that I'm interested in the future, or I want to keep my eye out for.
Okay, moving on. So now we're at the Q&A portion. So any questions anyone has, please, now is your time to ask us anything you want related to Salt, of course.
Does Canonical extending support on Ubuntu 14.04 and 16.04 have any impact on Salt? Or had you guys already retired those platforms?
I think we've already retired. I think the last version we had listed, at least for Salt, was 3002. Bryce might be able to speak to it more, but I don't think with Canonical's news, I don't know if we've decided to. I don't think we're going to continue with but if others present might have ideas on it.
What was the question?
With Canonical, oh, well, go ahead, Gary.
Oh, no, so Canonical has extended support on their 2 old LTS releases, 14.04 and 16.04 to 10 years, which means they are still supported. So the question is, does that change Salt's stance on supporting, or how does that impact Salt? And does that change Salt's stance on supporting those platforms?
Does it require payment to them after the 5 years for that extended support, or is it just free?
I think it's free.
If it's free, we should probably talk about it.
So I think at some point recently we had dropped support, not even recently, like I think quite a while ago, we had dropped support for 1404. I think we were looking at dropping support for 1604.
Yeah, 1604 is supported with 3001 and 3002, but not 3003 and going forward.
I mean, the 1604 is 1604 using Python 3 or is it still using Python 2?
I believe it has Python 3 available, but it's probably Python 3.5. Yeah, it is Python 3.5.
Okay. I mean, we might be able to support it once we start moving packages to Tiamat packages, because that allows us to control the version of Python that we install, as well as all the other dependencies. Yeah, like Bryce said, it's something we'll have to talk about as a team.
And that leads me into my next question. Do we have any idea when Tiamat might go gold, so to speak? And will it be supported by the Bootstrap script, or is there an alternative script for install for saltifying the machine?
We don't have a Tyler here to speak to that.
I think you might. I think this might be a good opportunity to have, if you have a use case like where you need to make your own builds with Tiamat or whatever, or use an official Tiamat build. Like I know that the Bootstrap. I know that all the Bootstrap is like a. It's just a shell script, right? It could be a good opportunity to sort of, I don't know, provide some sort of stub or example pared down script that somebody could adapt to their own Tiamat builds. And it wouldn't be a drop-in replacement, but.
Yeah, that's, I mean, so I'll give you my use case, and that's kind of what I figured. So we have these appliance VMs that we install for a vendor. They're Oracle Linux 7 boxes with some software installed, but I was installing the regular Salt build on them so that we could manage them. But then the vendor got all grumpy about support because it pulls in a bunch of Python packages, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, so that raised the question, well, could we just use the Tiamat build? So the vendor, keep vendor happy, but we still get to manage them with Salt. I just wasn't sure if someone had already, written a script, or if I assume anyone who's using Tiamat today is probably just scripting it themselves. I just didn't know if there was a standard script or if there was plans to add it to the Bootstrap script, or kind of what the plan was.
Yeah, we don't have our own Bootstrap script. We haven't reached that point yet. I know we still have a certain amount of 6 boxes where eventually, if we move to a different build, we're going to. I think currently we're just pinned to an older Self Bootstrap. But I mean, yeah, that's something it's something that will affect us probably later this year. So, I was just planning on having to write my own script.
Yeah, I just assume as some platforms move to officially using Tiamat, right? Like the older platforms where SaltProject if officially plans to use Tiamat, I assume Salt's going to have something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, again, it's just I think that's why I said I think it might be useful for us to have to work on perhaps some sort of generic thing that you could tie your own builds into to sort of facilitate that. I don't know if that could be. I mean, maybe that could be incorporated into the existing Bootstrap script, but I'm not sure.
I can add some color to that. We should add it to the Bootstrap script. There's a couple more issues we still need to fix. We're going to try to get it done before the Silicon release, but that's still in question. In terms
I guess it all depends. Like if if the TMAP builds are going to be official, then it should be in the main Bootstrap script. Otherwise, I think we should, as a community, work to have some sort of, something to use it as like a starting point. Maybe something that lets you slot in your own builds. But
yeah, and there are nightly builds of the TMAP build right now, so you could test that if you don't want to build your own. But yeah, that's the update there.
Awesome.
Any other questions? We just have Gary and Eric on today, but any other questions about the upcoming release, what's going into it?
No, we're still pinned a couple releases back. We still haven't gone past 3,000, unfortunately, because of the CentOS 6 issue. We haven't solved that. So
Sorry, which is there a particular bug that's blocking you?
No, it's not a bug. It's just we still have CentOS 6. So we haven't even evaluated anything past 3,000 internally. Or the hope is to do that this fall, but it might end up being first quarter next year.
Okay. My condolences on the CentOS 6.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but it's enough to have to worry about it and have to think about trying to get a newer release via Tiamat that'll work on those boxes. But
Gareth, can you elaborate more on what's going to be supported in the new vCenter Salt extension? Is it just basically a cloud driver, or is there going to be things like NSX in there too, or?
Yeah, I can touch a little bit on that. So there will basically, ultimately everything. But to start out with, we do have a lot of NSX features. There's another team that was working on the NSX functionality, so there's a lot of that in there currently. We've got a team working on supporting other just general ESXi functionality, getting information, spinning up VMs, tearing them down, stuff like that. So that's in there. If there's any particular functionality that you're aware of that would be super killer, definitely let us know. But we should be opening that repository 1st of October is the plan for that. So keep your eye out for that. I was planning to ping you about that anyway, because I figured you'd be one of the most excited to kick the tires on that, and we'd really value your feedback. But yeah, that's just kind of the high level of what we've got. But currently the ultimate goal is that if you can do it with vCenter or vSphere, you should be able to do it with this extension module. And any place that you can't, we want to know about that and add that to our backlog so we can get those features and functionality added. So yeah.
Super awesome. Yeah, that's super awesome because the current vSphere driver is serviceable but less than great.
Yes.
And I'm very excited about NSX support. So that is awesome news.
Nice. Yeah. That has definitely been our experience looking at that too. So it will be very good. And the other thing that's fantastic about having the extension module is that the release cycle will be decoupled from Salt. So we should be able to push out releases basically whenever we want. Our our theory is that, especially at the beginning when we open this up and we start fixing a whole lot of bugs and adding features rapidly, that we should be, there's really no reason why we can't release at least once a week. And so that's our plan, and our goal for that is to really have a rapid release cadence, especially for like the first 6 months or so. I cannot imagine why we wouldn't be releasing multiple times per month, you know, at least twice, if not 4 or more. So that's the goal and the plan there. And it should be really exciting to see a lot of that just kind of take off, especially when, because that'll be announced at VMworld. And so we're hoping we should get a lot of interest about it from there. And so I'm expecting floodgates. Is what I'm expecting.
Awesome sauce.
I also wanted, since we mentioned we're talking about extensions, I did want to let me share a different screen here. Let me close this. So Pedro and Derek have been working on, this is it's still a work in progress, still a proof of concept phase per the site, but this is where what will eventually be the list of available projects or extensions, and like their testing status, etc. And so we already have like a handful of them that are in GitHub, that are tagged with, I think it's like if they mention Salt extension or Salt ext, Pedro, is that correct?
A Salt extension in the
Yeah, we have like a few ways to detect. So one, which we should probably further down stop doing, is if a package is prefixed with Salt ext dash or Salt ext dot, we consider that a Salt extension, or Salt dash ext dash, that's also considered. But the proper way would be to include on your project's metadata, on the keywords, the Salt extension keyword. And if that keyword is present, we consider that a Salt extension. There's also a few assumptions about this index. It assumes that you are using Nox, which I know for a fact that there's at least 1 or 2 extensions that are using Tox. So we can probably extend to test against Tox 2, but we need a way to pass the Python version we want and the Salt version that we want to test against. When we have a few more cycles available, I will try to investigate about that to at least document on how projects should be doing that if they are using Tox. We don't want to restrict people to using Nox just because we do. But for this proof of concept, we are basically using we are testing the way we test Salt, and the way that the Salt extension tool creates the boilerplate code. As you see, there's a lot of yellow exclamation marks. That's because tests have not run. One example is the missing Nox file. Another one is a missing source tarball, because we cannot test against those. Those usually don't include tests. So there's a lot to do. And as it grows, this will become a massive list, even though it has a little search, and on the right side of the contents, it will show a lot of them. So this is basically a proof of concept. We know we can improve stuff, and as people start using the index, they are probably start saying, look, I would like to be able to just search for this, or have tags, or have something like karma, is this good or is this bad, stuff like that. But anyway, we have now a website which lists the available extensions if we were able to attack them. If your list is not here, if your extension is not here, you can create an issue on the extensions index. SaltTech/salt extensions index on GitHub, and we can manually add them. Although the keyword salt extension is better. On that note, and since we're talking about salt extensions for the upcoming release, we no longer have to restart the daemons to detect salt extensions. So with the past release, we started talking about the salt extensions that Salt actually already supports for a while. But if you installed an extension while a daemon is running, the master or the minion, you would actually have to restart those daemons to detect the new extensions that you just installed. Going further, since 3004, that will no longer be necessary. That's it. Questions? Arguments, rebuttals. I'm giving a Tomish.
And I do want to say, even though my name was mentioned, all I did was help with the theme, with the theme look, while Pedro did pretty much, I'm pretty sure, mostly everything here.
It's important work, Derek. You deserve credit.
Yeah, if it looks bad, no one wants to see it.
Exactly.
Good points. Good points.
Any other questions anyone has? If not, we can end. I'm sure Wayne has a joke he can take us out on.
I do indeed. Although David's not here, which is a pity, because in America we call it an elevator, but over there in the UK they call it a lift, and I guess we're just raised differently.
Yes.
Chunga, I would like to toss out a suggestion for a SaltConf session. It's just an hour of Wayne doing terrible jokes.
We'll put
escalating.
We'll give him like a brick background that says like yuck yucks in neon. Give him a bar stool and a microphone and
like a sports jacket.
Yes.
Like a neon shirt, sports jacket.
I'll get the sequins covering it.
Tip your waiters. I'm here all weekend. Yeah, I love it.
I like sharing terrible jokes, but instead of sharing one of my own, I posted a link there to one of the all-time greats with a fantastic terrible joke, the Norm Macdonald moth joke. If you haven't heard it.
No. I think I have heard this one.
I think he just passed away.
Yeah,
he did. He did. Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, that's the reason for this for sharing. It's really sort of the platonic ideal of a terrible joke. So I urge you all to go check it out.
Norm Macdonald is very fantastic with those. I was rewatching a few things, and his interview with Larry King Live was pretty fantastic.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, everyone. We can end a little early, give everyone some time back. And we will see everyone next week.
Tell everyone to sign up for SaltConf.
Yes.
And I need
sign up
speakers.
for SaltConf and speakers. Yep.
There you go.
Go register to speak.
Yes.
Do all the things. Oh, go buy some swag.
Thank you, Gareth. All right, see you guys.